ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुक्तपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome to corporate Bhagavad Gita. We are continuing from where we left, that is 6th chapter and 40th verse. So in this particular 6th chapter, Krishna is talking about Dhyan Yoga. Krishna is talking about Dhyan Yoga, where he says that in this particular yoga, one leaves home, family, goes to a secluded place like forest, and sits on a higher place, eats only leaves and water and simple roots and fruits, away from family life, away from everything. And he holds his head, neck straight, erect, and steadily stares at the tip of the nose. He keeps his eyes half closed, okay, not fully closed or fully open, but half closed. And then he meditates by chanting Om, or he just meditates, and he does this for many years, and ultimately he sees the super soul within the heart, Paramatma within the heart. So it takes many years. It's a very difficult yoga. So when Arjuna heard this, the kind of yoga, what he said was, this yoga seems impractical and unendurable to me, very difficult. Then Krishna says you have to practice, take suitable practice and detachment. I mean, if this practice is suitable, then take to this. If this is not, then take to the another suitable practice. And by detachment, you will be able to go further. So we were at, yeah. So then, then Arjuna asked this question. Last time we discussed that suppose somebody is on the path of yoga. Okay, he's doing bhakti yoga, or he's doing jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, karma yoga, but he's not able to get the final success. Okay, just hold on. But he's not able to get final success. So whether so what will happen to him? Hmm? Because he left material life. Okay, he left material life, so he didn't even go for material success. Hmm? Name, fame, money, possessions, property, he didn't go for that. He left everything. In spiritual also, he didn't get fully success. He was like halfway. He couldn't see the Paramatma within his heart. So what will happen to such kind of person who is neither here nor there? And last time we discussed this example of, just to understand why is asking this question is like, many people appear for UPSC exam, right? IAS, UPSC exam, or government job exams. Thousands of people apply. But do you know how many jobs are there? Something like 1800 or 1200 to 1800. Sometimes even less than that, 800, Sometimes even less than that. So, so the question is, what will happen to them? So one may say, okay, I left few years of prepare of my youth, to prepare for this exam, and now I didn't get that. So it's a general question that everyone has. Okay, it's a general question that everyone has. Similarly, Arjun is also asking, if we don't achieve success, what will happen? Now Krishna is going to explain. So let's jump into it. Any question you can interrupt me. No problem. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Partha Naiveha Namutra विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते न हि कल्याणकृत कश्चित् दुर्गतिम तथा गच्छति. The Supreme Person Godhead said that son of Prita, a transcendental engaged in auspicious activity does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world, nor does good, my friend, is never overcome. One who does good is never overcome by evil. So it is not like he get destruction. Suppose somebody doesn't become IAS officer, there is some loss. Definitely time is lost, this is lost, that is lost. He has to start again everything. But in case of yoga, that is, he is not destroyed. Okay. So when he goes to the next life, then what happens? Krishna will explain in next verses. But let's move forward here. Sri Naramuni instructs Vyasadeva in Shrimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17. Takta sardharman charanamrudha harer bhajan avapakyate tatha pathe tato yadi. If somebody gives up material prospects and take complete shelter of the Supreme Personal Godhead, there is no loss or degradation anywhere. On the other hand, a non-devotee may fully engage in his duty, occupational duty, and yet not gain anything. So Narad Muni is saying that there is no loss actually. How is there no loss? It's not explained here, but in the next verses it is explained. For material prospects, there are many activities, both spiritual and scriptural and customary. A transcendent is supposed to give up all material activities for the sake of spiritual advancement in life. Krishna consciousness. One may argue that by Krishna consciousness, one may attain the highest perfection if it is completed. But if one does not attain the perfectional stage, then he loses both materially and spiritually. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one has to suffer the reaction of not executing the prescribed duties. Therefore, one who fails to discharge transcendent activities properly becomes subjected to these reactions. The Bhagavatam assures that unsuccessful transcendentalists that there is no need to worry. Even though he may be subjected to the reaction of not perfecting executely prescribed duties, he is still not a loser because auspicious Krishna consciousness is never forgotten. And one so engaged will continue to be even to be so even if he is in low born in next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows the prescribed duties need not necessarily attain auspicious result if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness. So those who do yoga right and they are not perfect, they didn't achieve the perfect final stage, then nothing is lost. Even in his next life, he will continue from where he had stopped. Okay. But in case of those who didn't do yoga but they just did prescribed duties, then they won't get auspicious results. They may get results according to prescribed duties, but it is all dependent on that. I will give you one example. We will discuss that and we'll go further. The purport may be understood as follows. Humanity may be divided into two sections, namely regulated and non-regulated. Those who are engaged simply in bestial sense gratification without knowledge of the next life or spiritual salvation belonging to the non-regulated senses section. And those who follow the principles of prescribed duties in the scriptures are classified among the regulated sense section. The non-regulated section, both civilized and non-civilized, educated, non-educated, strong, weak, are full of animal propensities. The activities are never auspicious because they are enjoying the animal propensity of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. They perpetually remain in material existence, which is always miserable. On the other hand, those who are regulated by scriptural injunctions and thus rise gradually to Krishna consciousness certainly progress in this life. Okay, there are a lot of details spoken. I want to discuss it a little differently. So let me finish this one more paragraph and then we'll go. Those who follow the path of auspiciousness can be divided into three sections. The followers of scriptural rules and regulations which are enjoying material propensities. Those who are trying to find ultimate material liberation from material existence. And those who are devotees in Krishna consciousness. Those who are following the rules and regulations of the scriptures for material happiness may be divided into two classes: those who are fruitive workers and those who desire no fruit of sense gratification. Thus, those who are after fruitive results for sense gratification may be elevated to a higher standard of life, even to higher planets. But still, those who are not free from material existence, they are not following the truly auspicious path. The only auspicious activities are those which lead one to liberation. Any activity which is not aimed at ultimate self-realization or liberation from the material bodily concept of life is not at all auspicious. Activity in Krishna consciousness is only auspicious activity, and anyone who is voluntarily accepts all body discomforts for the sake of making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness can be called a perfect transcendentalist under severe austerity. And because the eightfold yoga system is directed towards the ultimate realization of the Krishna consciousness, such practice is also auspicious, and no one who is trying his best in this matter need fear degradation. Okay, so a lot of things discussed. Um, okay, so first was civilized and non-civilized category. In non-civilized category, how do people live? People live like animal propensity.
Yes.
What is animal propensity? To
There
simply
is no
focus.
order.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no order.
simply needs
See, yeah,
on pleasures and
yes, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. See, today we see most of the people, right? They are having this animal, or this is called as, actually called as materialistic propensity also. Okay, where person is simply focused on eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Am I getting my food? Am I having a place to sleep? I'm having mating, and am I able to defend? Yes, then I'm very happy. I don't want to think anything more than that. That is animal propensity. Why it is called animal? Any thoughts?
because they're not able to think like us.
Animals also think. See, higher thinking is not there. What is higher thinking? Higher thinking is there something greater than this? What happens after death? Why I am suffering? When such questions happens, right? Then one is not on animal platform. Human beings ask this question and they go for answer for it. Animals, do they have hospitals? No. Human beings, they have big hospitals. They want to resolve the death. They want to resolve diseases. Animals, they cannot. Even if they want to, somehow they may do it, but it's not like very organized, structured like human being, right? So human being asks this question: why I'm suffering? What happens after death? Who is controlling this whole world? Second thing, why animal is used is, in a slaughterhouse, na, if one animal is getting killed, right, the other animal is not worried. Why? Because he's happy to get his grass. So he thinks, I am eating grass, I'm okay. But the other animal next to him is killed and he's not worried. So such kind of mentality, na, is animal mentality. That's why. One who is not thinking about future, or his future is only about eating, sleeping, mating, defending. His future is not for any higher causes of spirituality, huh, of humanity also.
It is.
What?
Okay. No, no, no. Actually, I lost your voice. So
Oh, okay, 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 sure. So non-civilized animal propensity, and in this, there are materialistic people also. They may use religion for their purpose. Use religion for their purpose. Through religion, they may get some wealth and all that, and then they will forget, like Ravana. Okay. Now, future for these two is not great. Animal propensity, you will become animal only. Materialistic propensity, you won't take to spirituality. Some benefit here and there will be there, but next life or within this life also, not great. In civilized, there are three types of fun. One is um, one is this. Let me just copy this. Hmm. In civilized, there are those people who follow scriptures, but they want to enjoy also material propensity. Okay. Then second is they are very frustrated with this material world. They are frustrated with this material world. That's why they want liberation. No more body, no more pain. And third one is they want to be devotees of Krishna or the supreme absolute truth. Okay. So those who are following scriptures, rules, regulations, next life will be, they followed some dharma. So they will get some good, Swarga Loka and all that. And those who want liberation, they will go to planets from where they can further their liberation process. And those who are devotees will go to Krishna. So that is how the next life is decided. Let me let me see if I have one picture which very nicely explains this thing. Yeah, very nice. So if we just focus on hmm, if we just focus on this picture, so person, he gets a lot of material credits. Let's focus on the left side. There's a lot of accomplishments: family man, rich, famous, PhD, own home, etc., etc., good children. At the time of death, everything is taken away. Next life, according to his karma, he will get next parents, new parents, and all that. If he has not lived a religious life, then next life parents won't be religious. But for a devotee, he chants the holy name, he preaches the glories of Krishna. His devotional credits remain with him. Material credits go away, okay? Even devotees' material credit go away. Devotional credit returns. And next life he comes and he starts from where he left. He takes birth in a family of transcendentalists. So this is what Krishna is going to explain in the next few verses. What exactly are the next destination for those who are unable to complete or achieve perfection? Prapya purna kritam lokam usitva shashvati hi samah suchinam श्रीमताम गेहे योग भ्रष्टो bijayate. Unsuccessful yogi, after many many years of enjoyment on the planet of the pious living entities, born into a family of righteous people or in a family of rich aristocracy. So first thing, he reaches the pious living entities, planets, meaning Swargaloka. Okay, and there he lives there, has a very nice vacation, and when he comes back to earth, that time also he gets a good family, righteous people, and rich aristocracy. Why one would get a rich family? What is the advantage of being in a rich family? Can you tell me? Any thoughts?
Uh, many we get many qualities because we are surrounded by such people, like achieved people. So we imbibe those qualities since the beginning, and we all the chances that we also become more successful.
So what does that successful means? We are talking about yogic success, okay? We are not talking about a material success.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying in that context only, but yeah, I use the word successful. So uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So,
in
so what happens with rich families is these rich families are dharmic families, religious families, not like materialistic rich family. There are many rich families where lot of religion is practiced. So unsuccessful yogi takes birth in that family, and he doesn't have to worry about earning and all that. And if he remembers his past life, then he can start his yogic process, hmm, become more spiritual. That's why we see sometimes in rich families people, some child becomes suddenly spiritual. Okay, he may leave everything, go away, or he may do a lot of dharmic things like building temples and yogic process and all that. Then we should understand that he was previously unsuccessful yogi, and now he has come in this situation. Okay, there are few more scenarios after this verse. We will see unsuccessful yogis are divided into two classes. One is fallen from very little progress, and one is fallen after long practice. So there is little practice and long practice. Okay, so yogis who fall after short period of practice go to higher planets. So they go to Swargaloka, where they are allowed to enjoy and all that. And after prolonged life there, they are sent back to this earth to take birth in righteous family, Brahmana, Vaishnava family, aristocratic merchants. The real purpose of yoga practice is to achieve the highest perfection of your Krishna consciousness, as explained in the last verse of this chapter. Okay, why we are doing yoga and all that? Not for just healthy body and mind, and no. Ultimate goal is, what is the ultimate goal of yoga?
I forgot it's to become.
What? What is the ultimate goal of yoga? To become Krishna conscious.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. Ultimately, see, the Shastras, they talk about this word, mukti. So, ultimate goal is mukti, which means liberation from material existence. Okay. Now it has little higher meaning to it. The higher meaning is whether it is Brahman or Paramatma or Bhagavan. So where is Mukti Pade? Where do one go? Brahman is where one will merge into spiritual effulgence, become one with the spiritual effulgence, and attain peace. So very nice peace is attained here. Paramatma is one will see the Supreme Lord. Hmm. He will develop our respect and all that. Bhagwan is he will go to Vaikuntha planets. Okay, Bhagwan is Vaikuntha planets. So ultimate liberation, the ultimate goal is to go back home, back to Godhead. Let's put it this way, simple. Okay. But those who do not preserve to such an extent and who fall because of material allurements are allowed by the grace of Lord to make full utilization of their material propensities. And after that, they are given opportunities to live prosperous life in righteous or aristocratic families. Those who are born in such families may take advantage of facilities and try to elevate themselves to full Krishna consciousness. So when they take birth in those families, right, then they take advantage of the facilities and they try to elevate themselves from where they had left. Okay, more scenarios. अथवा योगिनां कुले भवति धीमताम इताधि दुर्लभतरम लोके जन्म यद idrisham. Or if a young successful yogi after long practice of yoga. So what we talked right now before was short practice. Okay, short practice, then you will get to enjoy, come back in aristocratic family or yogic family and start from there. Now after a long practice, what happens? He takes birth in the family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly such a birth is very rare. So here the family that he gets is of transcendentalist. Transcendental means these are families where they have dedicated their life for spiritual activity. Okay. They have dedicated, and they are very, very wise people. Okay, they are in mode of goodness, pure goodness, and very wise people, very knowledgeable. It won't be like rich family also, where richness is there. It will be little bit good, like a brahmanical family. So such a family, right from the birth only, one will take to devotion service or to yogic practice. Birth in the family of yogis or transcendentalists, those with great wisdom is praised herein, because the child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from very beginning of his life. It is especially the case in Acharya Goswami families. Such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training. Thus, they become spiritual masters. In India, there are many such Acharya families, but they have now degenerated due to insufficient education and training. By grace of the Lord, there are still families that foster transcendentalist generation and after generation. It is certainly very fortunate to take birth in such family. Fortunately, both our spiritual master, Om Vishnu Padaya Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Maharaj, and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of the Lord, and both of us were trained in devotional service of the Lord from very beginning of our life. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. So here, Prabhupada is talking about his own life. He took birth in a family which was already devotees, Mulik, Mulik family, which are already devotees. And he told his spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj also took birth in a great family, Bhakti Vinod Thakur's family. So right from the birth, the devotional service was there. Right from the birth, the yogic processes were there, dharma was there, religion was there. Such is a rare birth. Hmm? But it is possible. Those who practice for a long time. Tatra tam buddhi samyogam labate paurva dehikam yatate cha tatho bhuya samsiddhyo kuru nandana. After taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. So here he revives the divine consciousness. He remembers what was happening, and then he makes further progress. There's one story to discuss. I will finish this and then we'll discuss. Last time also I discussed, but the same story is put here. King Bharat, who took his third birth in the family of a good Brahmana, is an example of good birth for revival of previous transcendental consciousness. King Bharata was the emperor of the world, and since his time, the planet is known among the demigods as Bharatavarsha. Formerly, it was known as Ilavrata The emperor at an early age, retired for spiritual perfection but failed to achieve success. In his next life, he took birth in the family of a good Brahmana was known as Jada Bharat because he always remained secluded and did not talk to anyone. And, and later on, he was discovered as a great transcendentalist by King Rahugana. From his life, it is understood that transcendental endeavors or practice of yoga never go in vain. By the grace of the Lord, the transcendentalists get repeated opportunities for complete perfection in Krishna consciousness. So last time we discuss the story of Jada Bharat. Let me see if I have those pictures. Jada Bharat. Okay. Okay. So Jada Bharat was originally a king. The whole Bharatvarsha, he was a king. But one day, what happened is, after leaving his home, family, everything, he was practicing this yoga that we are talking about. And then he met this baby deer, and he took care of that baby deer. But what happened is he became too attached to it, and he became so attached that when the deer went away, he kept searching here and there, where is the deer, where is the deer. And then what happened is, at the time of death, he remembered the deer. So then he got the body of a deer. And for a few years, he was living in the body of a deer. And then after that, again, he was given a human body. And his name was Jada Bharat. But at this time, what happened is, he didn't he didn't talk with anyone. He was secluded. He was all alone. And he remained, like a dumb man. But he was very advanced. When they took him to kill him in the temple of Mother Kali, hmm, then he didn't protest. So he was saved by Mother Kali. And then later on, he met King Rahuguna. And then is when Rahuguna understood that actually this person is a very great person. He knows a lot of transcendental, um, knowledge. And then he got that respect from Rahuguna. So, so if you see Bharat Maharaj, his story was, first he was king of the whole planet, Bharata. Not just this Bharat land, but planet. King Bharat. Then next life, because of attachment for deer, he got deer body. Then after that, he got human body, where he took birth in a Brahmanical family. And right from birth, he was given devotional service. But he was uninterested because of his previous experience with the deer. He said, I don't want anything in this world. Let me be alone. So he was living alone. So if you see this three lives, but see how he went from a king to a deer to Bharata. Okay. So taking birth in a transcendental family is very rare. Purva abhyasena taineva riyati te. Any question at this point? Any question or a comment?
No.
Okay, sure. See, in our case also, we had some previous, we did some previous practice. That's why now, we have come and we are practicing. We are getting attracted to Krishna consciousness because in previous life we did something. See, sometimes in today's world we see, some people come to Krishna consciousness and then they go away. They are not able to follow or something, or they get distracted and they go away. But in the next life they'll again come back and they will start from where they had left. It's like that. And those who practiced but didn't achieve perfection, they will again come back and take birth in very good families. By virtue of divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically became attracted to yogic principles even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. Advanced yogis are not very much attracted to the rituals of the scriptures, but they automatically become attracted to the yoga principles, which can elevate them to complete Krishna consciousness, the highest yoga perfection. In Srimad Bhagavatam 3:33-7, such disregard of Vedic rituals by advanced transcendentalists is explained as follows: Ato vat sopachoti to gariyan. Oh my Lord, people who chant the holy name of your Lordship are far, far advanced in spiritual life. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such chanters have undoubtedly performed all kinds of austerities and sacrifices, bathed in all sacred praises, and finished all scriptural studies. So, in the previous life, they did all this, took birth in sacred places, finished all scriptural studies, did all kinds of austerity sacrifices. And in the present life, even if they may not get a good life, but they are attracted to the yogic process. And the highest yoga process is to chant the holy name of God. The famous example of this was presented by Lord Chaitanya, who accepted Haridas Thakur Haridas, as one of his most important disciples. So Thakur Haridas, what he was a devotee. He would chant 192 rounds per day. That is almost 20 hours he would chant every day without fail. and he did that till his end of life. Although Haridas Thakur happened to be birthed in a Muslim family, so he was born in a Muslim family, but he was attracted to the holy name. So he chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And because he chanted a Hindu name, the Muslims punished him, but they couldn't kill him. They understood this is a very transcendental personality. He was elevated to the post of Namacharya by Lord Chaitanya due to his rigidly attending the principle of chanting 300,000 names daily. It takes 20 hours. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And because he chanted the holy name of the Lord constantly, it is understood that in his previous life he must have passed through all the ritualistic methods of Vedas known as the Shabda Brahman. Unless, therefore, one is purified, one cannot take to the principle of Krishna consciousness or become engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord. So, some purification was there previously. That's why in this life it took very fast to spiritual life. Okay. प्रयत्नाद यतमस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषि अनेक जन्म संसिद्धिस ततो यति पराम गति. And when the yogi engages himself in sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains supreme goal. So, like this, many, many births he takes, many, many births of practice he takes, and then he attains supreme goal. Like that. A person born in a particular rich, righteous, aristocratic, or sacred family becomes Krishna conscious in a favorable condition for executing yoga practice. With determination, therefore, he begins his unfinished task and thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contaminations. When he is finally free from all contaminations, he attains the supreme perfection, Krishna consciousness. So, slowly, slowly, all the contaminations are there, no? They go away by his practice of Krishna consciousness, yogic processes. Slowly, slowly, he becomes pure. Krishna consciousness is the perfect stage of being freed from all contaminations. So, Krishna consciousness is the perfect stage. There is zero contamination there. 100% purified water. So in Bhagavad Gita, when we read next chapter, in 20th verse, it is said, Yesam to antagatam papam janmanam punya karmanam te dvandamoha nirmukta bhajan te mama dhridavitaha. After many, many births of executing pious activities, when one is completely free from all contaminations and from all illusory dualities, one becomes engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, by gradual process, and sometimes it may take some few lifetimes, one will come to this understanding of pure devotional service, and then he will be able to follow that. तपस्विभ्यो अधिको हि दिखो योगी ज्ञानीभ्योऽपि मतोपधिकः कर्मभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्मात् योग भवार्जुन. A yogi is greater than ascetic, greater than empiricist, and greater than fruitive worker. Therefore, Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. A yogi is greater than ascetic. Ascetic means those who are doing tapasya on Himalayas and all that, fire tapasya, cold tapasya. A yogi is even greater than that. Empiricist, philosophers, they are very good at talking and arguing and discussing, etc. But a yogi is greater than that also. And then yogi is greater than fruitive worker. One who is working in this world and he just wants some benefit out of it. His focus is only for the benefit. A yogi is better than that also. Therefore, Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. So this instruction is for us also. As readers and study of Bhagavad Gita, this instruction is for us also, that we should also become yogi. Okay. When we speak of yoga, we refer to linking our consciousness with the supreme absolute truth. So when we speak of yoga, we don't think only of the yogasanas or pranayam that today world, we see yoga societies many. But what is it? It's linking our consciousness with supreme absolute truth. See, the supreme absolute truth stays in our heart as Paramatma, right? So connecting back to our Paramatma is yoga. Connecting back to Krishna is also yoga. And there may be different names for these things. Like such a process is named differently by various practitioners in terms of particular method of the adopted. See, when the linking process predominantly in fruitive activities, it is called karma yoga. Meaning one is following the scriptures and he is having the fruits also, and he gives back the fruit to Krishna. He offers it back to Krishna. That is called karma yoga. Where it is predominantly empirical philosophy, then it is Jnana Yoga. Where it is predominantly in devotional service, then it is Bhakti Yoga. And it is Bhakti Yoga is ultimate. A Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is the ultimate perfection of all yogas, as will be explained in the next verse. The Lord has confirmed herein the superiority of the yoga, but he has not mentioned that it is better than Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is full of scriptural knowledge and therefore nothing can excel it. Asceticism without self knowledge is imperfect. Asceticism is like, if one is doing tapasya but he doesn't have any knowledge, then it is imperfect. He has to have knowledge to do those tapasya. Empirical knowledge without surrendering to Lord is also imperfect. One may be philosopher and all that, but he's not taking to Krishna consciousness, neither is surrendering to the Lord. There are many philosophers who can speak well. They can write commentary on Bhagavad Gita also. But when it comes to worshipping Krishna, they won't do it. They won't do it. No, they'll say, no, it's not required. I don't think Krishna is God. I think he is just a historical person or maybe mythological. He said some good things, that's it. So they will have such kind of understanding. So that is also imperfect. And fruitive workers without Krishna consciousness is a waste of time. Therefore, the most highest praised form of yoga performance mentioned herein is Bhakti Yoga, and this is clearly more explained in the next verse. This is the last verse. Yoginam api sarvesham mat gatentara atmanah shraddhavan bhajate yomam sa me yukta tamo matah. See, shraddhavan bhajate yomam. Bhajate. The word bhajate means devotion. It means bhakti. Sarvesham means topmost. So topmost yogi is one who does bhakti to Krishna. Mam means Krishna. Mam means me. So who's speaking? Krishna is speaking. So who does faithful devotion to Krishna is the topmost. Sarvesham. Okay. Of all the yogis, one who with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So highest of one is one who does devotional service to Lord. What is devotional service? Who always abides in me. He's always thinking about him. He's always, thinking that, what Krishna wants. Abiding. Meaning Krishna wants this, therefore I will do this. He thinks of Krishna. Krishna's holy name, pastime, Krishna's deity, everything. And he renders transcendental loving service to him. The 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam, all that thing he does. Such a person is highest yogi. Okay, quite a long purport. We'll see if we can finish this. The word bhajate is significant here. Bhajate has its root in the word bhaja. Bhaja means which is used when there is need of service. So word bhaja means service. But English word worship is sometimes um, translated, but it is not exactly like bhaja. Worship means to adore, to show respect, honor, and worthy one. But service with love and faith is especially meant for Supreme Personal Godhead. How many of you adore the Prime Minister of India?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but do you serve him personally? No, right?
No.
And you may not do. See, most of the people just do worship. Worship means like that. There is no service involved. There is some adoration, awe, and respect. But when service is there, what will happen? One will actually serve that person, cook for that person, work for that person. That is service. So word bhajate means he will do actually service for Krishna. One can avoid worshipping a respectable man or demigod and may be called discourteous. But one cannot avoid serving the Supreme Lord without being thoroughly condemned. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personal Godhead, and thus every living entity is intended to serve the Supreme Lord by his own constitution. Failing to do so, he falls down. The Bhagavatam confirms this as follows: Ye Isham Purusham Sakshat Atma Prabhavan Ishwaram Na Bhajanti Bhajayanti Avajananti Sthanat Brishta Patanti Adaha. One who does not surrender service, one who does not render service and neglects his duty unto the primeval Lord, who is the source of all living entities, certainly fall down from his constitutional position. Those who don't render service to Krishna, they fall down from spiritual life. Okay. In this verse, also the word bhajanti is used. Therefore, bhajanti is applicable to Supreme Lord only, whereas the word worship can be applied to demigods or other common living entities. Okay, when the word bhajanti is used, it is only to Vishnu, Narayan, Krishna, Rama, Varaha, Nrsimha. It cannot be used to any demigod like Indra, Shiva, Brahma, Ganapati. Cannot be used. Bhajanti cannot be used for demigods. It is always with respect. Avajananti Mamudha. Only fools and rascals deride the Supreme Person called Lord Krishna. Such fools take upon themselves to write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. See, I was talking about. They will write commentaries on it, but they won't serve the Lord. Therefore, they cannot understand the word difference between bhajanti and worship. The culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lie in bhakti yoga. All other yogas are but means to come to the point of bhakti in bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga actually means bhakti yoga. All other yogas are progression towards the destination of bhakti yoga. See, all other yogas should ultimately come to bhakti yoga. Okay. Once when one comes to bhakti yoga, right, he never falls down. There may be some delay in achieving the perfection, but one doesn't go back to zero. In other yogas, right, there is a chance of going back to zero. Okay. Why? Because once you die, you forget everything. You have to be remembered by the Supreme Lord. Okay. uh, then all the power that you may have generated, it is not no more with you. All the knowledge that is there, that is also not there with you. You have to again gain that knowledge. But in bhakti yoga, what happens is, whatever love you have for Krishna, it remains like that. In your next life, it's you start from that particular love. That is the greatness of bhakti yoga. Even death cannot disturb it. From the beginning of karma yoga to the end of bhakti yoga is a long way to self-realization. Karma yoga without fruitive result is the beginning of this path. So without being fruitive, we have to do karma. That is the first thing. Then it increases knowledge and renunciation. Then we are in Jnana Yoga stage. When Jnana Yoga increases on meditation on the Supreme Lord by different physical processes like Ashtanga Yoga and the mind on him, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. And when one surpasses Ashtanga Yoga and comes to the point of Supreme Person Godhead, Krishna, it is called Bhakti Yoga, the culmination. Now you see there is a process what Prabhupada is saying here. The acharyas are saying first is Nishkam Karma Yoga, then is Gyan Yoga, then is Dhyan Yoga, which is Ashtanga Yoga, and then ultimately Bhakti Yoga. Right? This is how they are explaining. First is Nishkam Karma Yoga. Next is Jnana Yoga. Above that is Dhyan Yoga. And then is Bhakti Yoga. So this is the ladder. You start from here, you go like this. One is here, two is here, three is here, and then ultimately Bhakti Yoga. So it's like, this is ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor. Now, are there options directly go to the fourth floor? Is there a way to go to the fourth floor of a building directly?
No, no. Directly, you
Yeah.
cannot go.
Can there be?
Yeah, there can be.
How? There's a building,
Take a, we can take a lift.
lift. Yes. So in the previous ages now, people used to take the stairs. This is called stair process. Staircase. This is the staircase. Okay. But actually Bhakti Yoga is not dependent on the staircase. Bhakti Yoga is itself is the lift or elevator. One can directly take to this and reach the highest platform. So one need not go to these three. Directly one can take to devotion service. Now what is Bhakti Yoga? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Hearing, chanting. Hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. This is basic Bhakti Yoga. And when one does this directly, he need not go to this all things. It will automatically happen. All these three things will automatically happen. And therefore, Bhakti Yoga is actually a lift also. It's a stair. It's found on the staircase, but it's a lift also. One can directly take to it. That is the glory of Bhakti. Okay. The yogi who is progressive in therefore is who is progressive is therefore on the true path of eternal good fortune. One who sticks to a particular point and does not make further progress is called by that particular name. Karma yogi, Jnana yogi, Dhyana yogi, Raj yogi, Hatha yogi. If one is fortunate enough to come to the point of Bhakti yogi, then he is called Bhakti yogi, and therefore he has surpassed all the other yogas. Therefore, to become Krishna conscious is the highest stage of yoga, just as we speak of Himalaya. We refer to world's highest mountain, which is the highest peak, Mountain Everest, is considered to be culmination. So, if one is doing trekking of Himalaya, he should come to the Mount Everest and climb on the top of it. Then everything is achieved, right? Similarly, whatever yoga one is practicing, ultimately he has to come to the platform of Bhakti Yoga. Then it will be achieved. See, many people attempt to climb Mount Everest, right?
Yes.
Do you know what is the greatest fear they have?
The cold.
Cold. Yeah. So do you know what is the greatest fear they have while
The
climbing?
cold there.
No, cold is fine. What is the greatest fear?
That
Hmm.
the Himalayas. Like we
No,
know
no.
the
That they reach the top of the Himalaya or the Everest, but while coming down, whether they will live or not. The greatest fear they have is if they reach the top and then there is no proof that they reach the top. Okay. And second thing is while coming back they die. And it has happened. Many people have died. So we cannot say whether they reached also or not. So sometimes that is the greatest fear. Anyway, so that's something on Everest that I had read, that the climbers have the fear of of um, of dying on the way to Everest or reaching Everest and then coming while coming back dying. It is very severe. Everest climbing and all this, very, very severe, very dangerous actually. But anyway, the point to mention here is the other yoga systems are like that, they have to come to the Bhakti Yoga platform. Otherwise, the success is not confirmed. Okay, it is incomplete. Okay. Now the ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Sham Sundar, who is beautifully colored as cloud, whose lotus face is as effulgent as sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower garlanded, illuminating from all sides in his gorgeous lustre, which is called the Brahma Jyoti. He incarnates in different forms such as Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Krishna. The Supreme Person called it, and he descends like a human being as son of Mother Yashoda. He is known as Krishna, Govinda Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, master, and he is full of all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called highest yogi. So Bhakti Yoga means Shravanam Kirtanam of all these things. Krishna, his name, his form, his pastimes, all of it. This stage of highest perfection in yoga is attained only by Bhakti Yoga. It is confirmed in Vedic literature. Yasya deve paravaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyeta kathe artha prakashante mahatmanam. Only onto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, all imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So those who have faith on Supreme Lord and spiritual master, whatever is required to be known from the Vedic knowledge is revealed. There is no confusion over there. Bhakti means to devotional service of the Lord, which is free from desire for material profit. Okay, one is doing devotional service to the Lord not for some profit, either in this life or in the next. Devoid of such inclination, one should fully absorb the mind in that supreme. That is the purpose of Naishkarma. These are some thoughts, some of the means for perfection or performance of Bhakti or Krishna consciousness, the highest perfection stage of yoga system. Okay, so this ends the sixth chapter. Let's open up for some questions or comments. Any questions or comments?
No, Prabhuji.
No.
Okay. So after this is seventh chapter, which is knowledge of the absolute. Now Krishna he ended saying that yoginam api sarvesham, topmost yogi is one who does shraddhavan bhajate yomam, bhajan of Krishna with great faith. Now the question remains is why he's saying to himself Mama Krishna. What is this Krishna? Who is Krishna? Like suppose you may join some company and then one friend will tell you, you see, you be a good friend of this so and so person. Let's say Mr. Sharma. You know, you be good friend with Mr. Sharma. You may ask, what is the next question you may ask? Hey, why Mr. Sharma? What is so special about him? Yes, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes.
So now the question remains here. Ki why Krishna? Why? Why he? So that is the subject matter of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So next five chapters, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6 chapters is to understand why Krishna. Why we have to do bhajan of Krishna only, and why not anybody else. We chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Someone can come and say, I can keep chanting Coca-Cola, 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 Coca-Cola. Why Krishna's holy name? क्यों राम नाम सत्य है? Why Ram's name is only Satya? Why not Ronald or Rakesh name is Satya? Why Ram only? Why Krishna only? Why Vishnu only? Why Narayan only? So that is the subject matter of 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th chapter. Okay. So Any question, any at this point, or we can stop? Okay.